So often people allow their day to attack them. They don't attack their day. And then by the end of the day, you're looking up and you're saying, man, I haven't gotten anything done. That's because you allow other people to control your day. Days when I time block, those are the days where I get things done that I need to actually get done. Most people, like you said earlier, they allow their day to attack them. Understand that time blocking, you ain't gonna be working all day long. It's gonna be little moments in there where you need to allocate those breaks so that you know, okay, this is my time where I can just chill out and relax. It used to be cool to multitask. And for me, I'm totally against multitasking because it doesn't allow you to be productive. The reason why I think a lot of people don't get things done is they try to plan and execute at the same time. Today, we're going to expose you to certain productivity hacks that will help you remove distractions and get things done so you can live a better life. Let's get exposed. Welcome to another edition of the Expose and Expand podcast show. I'm the man with the plan, Jeremy Mathis. I'm Joshua. I'm going to give you the game, Mathis, and welcome to another edition of the Expose and Expand podcast show, where we expose you to the ideas, the strategies, the struggles, the failures, the people, and the experiences that have gotten us from zero to millions. We live in a very distracted world. If you think about how distracted we are, it's really bad when you truly think about it. We got distractions with social media. We got distraction with family members, friends, and everybody else's issues. And you start thinking about it, how can you ever get things done with so many distractions and so many things that you have to deal with as a human being? We ask ourselves that question, and today we're going to expose you to certain productivity hacks that will help you remove distractions and get things done so you can live a better life. Let's get exposed. Guys, as always, man, we want to grow the show. So if you're listening on or watching on YouTube, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you're watching on any of the podcast players, please hit that follow button and leave us a review. But no, this is a show that I'm grateful that we have the opportunity to talk about because, like you said, so many people are distracted. So many people can't execute and get things done because it's a million and one things that they're distracted by. People have all type of notifications on their phone. So this is a show that I know is going to deliver some people and help some people break free. Yes, guys. So make sure you watch all the way until the end, or you listen all the way to the end, because we're going to break down and give you productivity hacks that are going to help you in your life. And let me put a disclaimer out there. We ain't the best when it comes to this productivity thing. We are still growing. We're still learning and evolving, but we've come a long way, and we want to help you guys in your productivity journey so that you can be more so that you can be the person that you need to be. So I think first, let's break down what does productivity means, because for the person that's listening, they may not understand that. So for us, I'll use our business as an example. There are certain things that need to get done. There's processes and procedures and SOPs that need to be written up. Right. So we want to make sure that those things get done. Or let me give you a better example. Every week we have an accountability meeting with our executive team, and there are things that each person on the executive team needs to get done throughout the week, and they need to report back the following week to make sure that it is done. A part of getting those things done is being productive, right? But being productive means you have to actually do some work. A lot of times people can't do work from what we've just mentioned already, which is because they're distracted. So guys, did I do a good job of breaking that down, helping people understand? Yes, guys, productivity is plain and simple. It's getting things done. When you got to work, get work done. When you want to be with your family, be there, be present, and just be productive, right? And get things done. So Josh came up with his hacks. I came up with some of my hacks, and we're going to talk about that. But one thing that I want to make one statement that I want to make is, in order to be productive, you first have to have clarity. In order to be productive, you have to have clarity. And the reason why I know that is because my life is always in chaos when I'm not clear on what it is that I want to do. Josh and I had a conversation, and we used to always talk. I always tell him, like, bro, we never used to work as hard as we should have. Now, let me not say never. A couple years back, we wasn't working as hard as I thought we could have worked. And Josh would always say, John, we was working. You just look at our progress and look at everything we did. It's just we never had clarity. We never had clarity on what it is that we wanted to do. So I think the first thing that you got to understand when you want to be productive is have clarity on what it is that you want to do. And that goes into my first hack, which is in order to get clarity, you need to make sure that you're planning out your days. You need to make sure you're planning out your weeks. Don't just wake up and just let your day come at you and attack you. You need to go and attack your day. And the way you do that is by planning. Abraham Lincoln was the one that says, if you give me 5 days, I think he said something like, if you give me 5 days to cut down a tree, I'm going to spend 4 days sharpening my axe, preparing and planning. Guys, planning is essential if you want to be productive. So just don't wake up and just think you're going to get things done. You need to make sure that you're planning so that you can be very productive. That's really good. One thing that you mentioned, and I hope you guys caught that, was so often people allow their day to attack them and they don't attack their day. And then by the end of the day, you're looking up and you're saying, man, I haven't gotten anything done. That's because you allow other people to control your day or other things to control your day. And another point that I want to make to the point that you just made is something that they commonly say in the military is proper preparation prevents poor performance. So if you prepare properly, 9 times out of 10, you'll perform at the level where you want to perform. But a lot of people don't prepare properly. And because they don't prepare properly, they don't get the results that they want. And then they look up and say, man, why didn't I get the results? You didn't plan properly. Talking about preparation, guys, I butchered that Abraham Lincoln quote. It was something like that. So when you Google the quote, don't be coming back and say, oh, germ. Yeah, I know I butchered it. But essentially, it helped me understand how important planning was. And before we go on, I want to make sure that you guys understand what planning looks like in my life. So as I'm planning out my days, I plan out the next day, the night before. If you waking up, walking into your day, trying to plan that day, you've already lost. So what I do, and one of my biggest hacks that's always helped me, is to make sure that I plan that the tomorrow, the night before. And what that looks like is I'm time blocking. So in the morning, I have my workout. And then after my workout, I have my time with my kids. And then after that, I have germ study and reading time. And then after that, I do this. And then I got a break. And on my calendar, on my own personal calendar that's not shared with anyone in the organization, I time block things that I want to get done. So guys, that's one of my biggest hacks when it comes to productivity. So that ties into kind of my first point, which is time blocking when it comes to being productive. Time blocking has been something that has been instrumental in helping me get things done. Still something that I have to grow and progress in, but I do understand and see that the times or the days when I time block, that's when I'm most productive. The days when I time block, those are the days where I get things done that I need to actually get done. Most people, like you said earlier, they allow their day to attack them. And then for me, when it comes to time blocking, also understanding that you need to understand your most productive times. So in the mornings, I want to control my mornings. If I have a big project or task to get done, I want to get it done in the morning because I'm fresh, I'm more alert, I'm more creative in the morning. So a part of time blocking is also understanding when you're most creative, when you're most productive. Because for me in the afternoon and at night, it's hard for me to really get things done. Now, if I'm on a deadline, I can get it done. But working in the morning is much easier for me. And then also, in addition to that, another thing that I've been doing lately is within my time blocking is understanding like how long I can work before I don't feel like working or before I feel like I'm getting distracted. So what I've started to do is put on a clock. 25 minutes, 30 minutes. I work straight through and I put a timer for 30 minutes. I can't look up. I can't look left. I can't look right. Let me sit down and get these things done. And for you, if you know, okay, 30 minutes may be too long for you, start at 5 minutes, start at 10 minutes, and you start building that muscle over time. I look at time blocking or, what I just mentioned, similar to running a marathon. You're not just going to come out day one and just say, hey, I'm going to go run a marathon. Over time, you build that endurance. And as you build that endurance, you get better and better. And before you know it, you're up to 26.2 miles. Guys, I want you to understand that with time blocking, it's not saying you're going to be working all day. I want to make that very clear. You're not going to be working all day. And that's something that I had to come to grips with because I used to beat myself up. And like at the end of the day, when I didn't work the entire day how I used to when I was younger, I used to be like, man, I wasn't productive. I didn't get things done. And then I had a big revelation when we went to lunch with Lori and Beth, and they helped me understand, dude, nobody can work all day. Like you need breaks. And that was something recent for me. And that really helped me. And now I understand that it's okay to time block my breaks. So within those breaks, I can get back to people that I've that texted me or that called me, or I could check social media because I have that allocated on my schedule. So understand that time blocking, you ain't gonna be working all day long. It's gonna be little moments in there where you need to allocate those breaks. And the best thing to do is to allocate those breaks so that you know, okay, this is my time where I could just chill out and relax, and be intentional about your break time. So my first hack was planning, and that went into Josh's first hack, which was time blocking. Now, you had anything else about planning or time blocking?
No.
All right. So my second productivity hack is do the hard thing first. Do the hard thing first. And that's something that I had to learn when I read, I think it was Brian Tracy's book, Eat the Frog. And so often up until I read that book, I used to always try to put the hard thing at the end of the day, and I tricked myself, or at least I thought I was. I actually failed myself because I would always say, oh, let me stack up my wins so that I can really be motivated and prepared at the end of the day to take on this big old task, when I know that my best working time was not at the end of the day, it's in the morning. So guys, when you need to figure out when your best time is to work, like Josh said, for Josh is in the morning, for me as well. And whenever that best time is, do the hard thing first and plan that hard thing, because once you get the hard thing out the way, you got that big project done. And then now you go to the small things that are not going to add that much value.
Man, that was actually my second point. And I labeled it as Eat the Frog. That's the title of the book that Jeremy's referring to. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. Most people do the hard thing last, or they put the hard thing last, and then before you know it, you never get to it, and it just keeps dropping to the bottom of your calendar. So for us, once I read that book, it was a revelation for me, because we all have things in our life. We all have things that we have to get done that when you think about it, when you look at it, you're like, man, I don't want to do it. But those are the things that you have to get done. So now I completely agree. Like I said, that was actually my second point. And then another thing when it comes to doing that hard thing first is understanding that, well, one, you want to plan and prioritize the urgency and importance of different things, number one, but then also understanding when, I lost my train of thought.
Got you. So guys, as far as productivity, my third hack that I want to talk about today is I limit my time on social media. So I have an iPhone. I don't know about Android users, but the blue bubble people, my folks, you're able to go onto your phone in the settings app and tell your phone every day, let me know once I've hit a certain threshold of usage on these on these particular apps. So in my phone, all my social apps, my Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, are all in a little cloud or a little folder in my phone, and I titled them at the top distractions. And everything that's in that distractions bucket, I set a timer where I can only be on those apps for a maximum of 30 minutes a day. For the most part, I do very well if only spending 30 minutes a day on social media, but sometimes I'm not the best and I do go over that 30 minutes, but it's a subconscious reminder to me like, yo, bro, you said when you in your time of attention that you was going to only spend 30 minutes on your distractions. You're spending more. So again, my third hack is use your settings app to put a limit on the amount of time that you spend on these apps and things on your phones that are a distraction.
Man, we are twins, and sometimes we think alike. And guys, that was going into my third point, which is removing distractions. We're so easily distracted. So for me, when I need to be productive, I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Or sometimes when I know I need to get something done, I just, I leave my phone in another room. I also, turn off all of the notifications on my phone. And then you also want to create a distraction-free workplace. So for me, I know I'm most productive when it's a quiet space, when I'm by myself. So if I know when I need to get things done, and I know when I need to be most productive, I need to be in a place where I'm alone, where it's quiet, and there's no one who can distract me, and there's no phone that can distract me either.
My God, did you come prepared today?
Big dog, what you talking
Oh
about?
my God, did you come prepared today?
Big dog, I'm prepared.
God, so again, this episode was just really talking about just how to be more productive and making sure that you can get a lot of things done.
Yeah, so for me, I got a few more bonus points because I figure we're probably, because you and I talk about this often as well. So that's probably why most of our points were the same, because we figured out what worked for us, and that's what we go all in at. So another thing that I do to make sure that I can be as productive as possible is I batch similar tasks together. So if there's I'll break that down. So if I'm working, we have different companies. I'm responsible for different things. So I know in the morning, the most important things get done first. So regardless of what company it is or what I'm working on, okay, what is the most important priority? I do that first. But then after that, there are other things that need to get done. So let's say, for instance, if I want to do like social media posting, I try to do all that at one time. Or let's say, for instance, I got to do something for our fix and flip companies. Whether it's looking at houses, whether it's underwriting deals, I try to get all of that done at one time. So for me, I always focus on one thing at a time, because most people, it used to be cool to multitask. And for me, I'm totally against multitasking because it doesn't allow you to be productive, because you may seem like you're getting things done, but you may be getting things done, but it may not be at a pace of where you want to get it done. You may be slowed down. So if you're putting, 20 minutes here and then another 20 minutes here, and then you got to go back here, you got to switch your brain in and out of different states, right? Because different projects, different things that you work on require a different part of you. It requires a different part of your brain. Certain things you work on, you may have to be in the creative state. So let me focus on those creative things first. Or there may be other things where it's just like data entry. There, you don't have to be creative. You just have to be disciplined to sit there and get it done. So for me, if I try to process everything separately.
So you just actually brought up another point that I can't even believe we didn't even talk about, which is part of one of the critical parts of being productive is not multitasking. Studies has shown multitasking is not effective. And so many people think, I work well when I'm multitasking, but it's just when you're working on multiple things at a time, like how well are you actually doing it? Mm-hmm. The best thing that in order to do something great, I believe it has to be 100% effort over time, or focus, right? So, guys, if you're out there and you think multitasking is something that's good, it's not. If you're in a meeting, be in the meeting. Don't be in the meeting and on your phone. If you're working, don't be texting and then saying, I'm able to get my work done, but also I'm able to text. If you're studying, focus on studying and not doing everything else. And again, that goes back to time blocking. And when you time blocking, you plan, it helps you, again, make sure that you're not multitasking and you're handling tasks when you need them and when you should be handling them.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. And again, we like for a long time, we both used to be those people where, we can multitask. And like you said, most people put on their resume back in the days, I can multitask. But that is the biggest death to you being productive. But question for you, there's a lot of people that are not productive. Like, what is if I'm listening to this right now, what should I do right now to be productive?
I think the first thing that you should do in order to be productive is realize you don't have as much time as you think you do. You do not have as much time as you think you do. I think we need to be intentional about our time and start realizing that we don't have as much as we think. And I heard a quote that says, "You're arrogant to think you have tomorrow to do something that you can do today." So once you start to really realize that, dang, my time here on earth is really limited. You think about how many people have lived a full lifetime. Just think about how many generations there has been on this earth. It's been a lot of generations. And for you to be arrogant and think, I got so much time to do the things that I need to do, it's foolishness. So I think in order to be very productive, you need to start realizing you don't have as much time as you need to. I will ask you that same question. If somebody wanted to be productive right now, what would you, and they need help in that area, what would you tell them the first thing they need to do to be more productive?
I think it goes back to what you said, your first point, which is clarity. Understand what you need to get done. Sit down and plan. Like, people need to, the reason why I think a lot of people don't get things done is they try to plan and execute at the same time. And can it be done? Yes, but it's harder. I think what you need to do is separate the two. Planning is one phase. Executing is something else. What most people do is they plan, then they execute a little bit. Then they plan, then they execute a little bit. Then they plan, then they delay. And then nothing is done. So for me, I've learned to say like, okay, let me plan now, right? Let me sit down, create this plan, and then I spend the time executing. Make sense? Even you think about it, for our weekly meetings, we talk about, hey, here's what I plan on getting done. Here are the 3 to 4 things I plan on getting done, and then I execute the rest of the week. I'm not thinking about what I need to get done. Most people, before they get, when it's time to get something done, they're thinking like, damn, what do I need to get done? And then the thinking bothers them. The thinking hurts them, and then they jump on Instagram, and then they jump on something else and get distracted, and they never get the thing done on what they need to get done.
That's game right there. That's game. You got anything else you want to add? I think this has been really, really good. I told you, if you watch to the end, you definitely have gotten a lot of value. Take what we say and apply it to your life and watch how your life changes. This is all things that we have done and we've been implementing over the last couple of years that have allowed us to run the fixing and flipping company, the wholesaling company, having rentals, doing the Expose and Expand podcast show, having the education company. Is because we've been implementing everything that we just gave to you guys today. You guys have been exposed to it, so now it's on you to go out and implement everything that you've been exposed to today. You got a lot of value, so we got the gentleman's agreement. If you're watching, hit that subscribe button on YouTube. If you're listening, hit that follow button and leave your boys 5-star review, and then do the world a favor and expose them to this episode so that they can be more productive in their lives. Remember, exposure leads to expansion. Peace.
Expose and expand.
Peace.